My beloved child, perhaps your heart now feels heavy with unspoken burdens, the subtle cracks you never intended to create, yet somehow became part of. But let me lead you back to where you first began, the place where your words were not merely sounds, but refreshing waters that brought life to weary souls, light that calmed tensions once thought irreconcilable. Do you remember those days, when your voice carried joy into a room, when the gentleness in your tone dissolved an entire sky of worry in someone's heart? That was the sacred power I placed within you. It was a gift, a weapon, a reflection of the love I poured into your soul. But child, I see the changes beginning to creep into your heart. I do not accuse you. I do not judge. I simply invite you to look honestly at the truth. Your words are losing their purity. They've become laced with impatience, with unhealed wounds, and with silent assumptions you may not even be aware of. At times, you may think you're just being honest, but honesty without love becomes an invisible blade. At times, you believe you're simply expressing your opinion. Yet sometimes, what others need is not an opinion, but understanding. I see the words you speak building distance between you and those you once held dear. They may not push back. They may stay silent. They may remain, but in that silence, pain festers. Unnamed grievances begin to form invisible walls. And I do not want you to lose what is most precious, the love, the trust, and the sacred connection I have planted between you and them. My child, in just a few days, something will happen, not as a punishment, but as a test. It won't be random, and it won't be bad luck. It will be the natural result of what has quietly accumulated unresolved misunderstandings, words unsaid or poorly said. This event may catch you off guard, but it won't surprise me. I've seen it coming, and I speak to you now not to scare you, but to prepare you, because in these next 3 days, you can still change the outcome. You can rewrite the story by choosing your words differently. You can soothe what is simmering beneath the surface with the gentleness of repentance. You can turn a confrontation into a moment of healing. But to do that, you must let your tongue return to its true design, the instrument of love. Not judgment, the instrument of peace. Not chaos. I am not asking you to be perfect. I am inviting you to be sincere. Sit with me. Pray. Ask my Spirit to guide each word, each sentence, each sacred silence. Remember, your words are not just tools for communication. They are seeds planted into the hearts of others. They will bloom or wither depending on how you nurture them. Beloved, don't let pride overshadow mercy. Don't let haste destroy what only time and patience can build. These next few days are not a threat, but a divine opportunity, an open door to restore, to rebuild, and to return to your true self, the compassionate heart I gave you from the very beginning. Let your mouth become a conduit of life. Speak words that build up, words that offer hope, words that open doors to understanding, to forgiveness, and to love reborn. I am beside you, not just watching, but guiding, strengthening, and speaking with you. So don't be afraid. If you turn your heart toward me, if you open yourself, I will put words on your lips that cause the other to drop their guard, to receive you again as if there had never been a wall. This is the power of true repentance, of humility, and of love that flows from me. And when you pass through this test, not by skill, but by a heart willing to listen and change, you will see not only the relationship healed, but you yourself will be healed. You will understand that words, when washed in love, are no longer instruments of harm, but pathways of restoration. And this, my precious child, is what I long for you to choose starting today. So come, sit with me a while, in stillness, and listen to the deepest question from my heart. When you speak, do your words bless? Are they streams of cool water soothing a soul already cracked and weary? Or are they invisible blades deepening wounds already inflamed? Do you know, child, that your words are not merely vibrations of voice and sound? They are spiritual seeds sown into the soil of your life and the lives around you. Every word carries weight, an unseen but mighty power, because in the spirit realm, every sound has an echo. Every spoken word, a lingering resonance. I understand, my child, that there are days when you are heavy with unnamed pain, with pressures pressing against your chest like a dam about to burst. And in those moments, it's easy to let loose words soaked in frustration, sighs weighted with despair, or seemingly harmless phrases that pierce others like poisoned arrows. I do not condemn your struggle, for I am a Father of mercy, and I see the hidden battles you fight each day. But because I love you, because I desire for you to walk in true freedom and not fall into invisible chains, I speak this truth to you. Your words hold eternal weight, not because people praise them, but because they etch unseen realities into the spiritual realm. Let this truth awaken your heart. Let it shape your lips. Let it realign your spirit to speak life, to carry peace, to be a wellspring of my love in every word you utter. For when your voice becomes an echo of mine, healing will flow not only to others but also to the hidden places within your own soul. My beloved child, words, my child, can be like the first light of dawn that melts the frost within a weary heart. Yet they can also become a ruthless fire that destroys what I am building inside you. Each time you release a bitter word, whether intentional or not, you send out a signal into the unseen realm. And that signal either aligns with the power of my good and perfect plan, or it resists it by opening the door for the enemy to interfere. This is not meant to cause you to live in fear, but to remind you that you carry within you a sacred gift, the power to build or to tear down, to heal or to wound, all through the words you speak. That is why I am inviting you into deeper spiritual maturity. One word at a time. Do not let fleeting emotions become the conductor of your destiny. Do not allow a moment of weakness to unravel years of what I have been cultivating in you. Choose your words as a gardener chooses seeds with care, with love, and with holy responsibility. My precious one, I am not asking you to be silent always. I simply long for you to speak with the wisdom that comes from me. There is a time to speak in order to heal, and a time to be silent in order to listen. There is a time for honesty to establish boundaries. But remember, honesty without love is a double-edged sword, while truth accompanied by kindness is like fragrant oil upon a wound. I see the efforts you have made. I have watched the moments when you held back your words, resisting the urge to respond in the flesh. I see the quiet spaces where you retreat just to weep instead of inflicting pain, and I treasure those moments, for they are proof that my spirit is working in you, teaching you to discern not only right from wrong, but to weigh every word from your mouth in the balance of eternity. It is in those quiet decisions that you and I partner together to build a life rooted in mercy, encouragement, blessing, and faith. So today, I do not come to weigh you down with memories of what has been spoken in the past. I come with a new invitation. Let your mouth become a wellspring of sweetness. Let your words carry the breath of heaven. Do not allow irritation to overshadow the beauty I have placed inside your heart. You were created to bring life, not division. You were called to build, not to destroy. And your words, when filled with my spirit, can break chains, lift the weary, heal the brokenhearted, and even alter the destiny of a soul. This is not some far-off dream. It is the authority I placed in you from the very day you were called my child. Therefore, beloved, step away from the harmful words that have wounded in the past. Open your heart to a new language, the language of grace, of life, and of compassion. And then, you will not only see others transformed by your words, but you yourself will be changed from the inside out by the truth that you are speaking in harmony with me. And when your voice aligns with mine, there is nothing that cannot be healed. No relationship too broken to be restored. No life too ruined to be raised from the ashes. All through words, words woven from heavenly love. My child, pause with me now in this sacred stillness and reflect deeply on something many overlook: your words. Do you know that every blessing you speak is not just a polite gesture, but a spiritual declaration, a sacred partnership between you and me? When you bless someone, you echo my heartbeat and participate in bringing forth my plans of love, healing, and restoration into that person's life. Every word spoken in truth and love is a golden thread in the grand tapestry. I am weaving a tapestry where life multiplies, grace spreads, and hope is stirred in hearts that once doubted. But my child, that very same tongue, if not guided by my spirit, if rooted in bitterness or resentment, can become a dangerous tool, not only hurting others but hindering the very blessings I long to pour upon you. For when you speak negatively, when you criticize with harshness or joke carelessly in ways that wound, you align not with me, but with the accuser, the one who schemes to tear down everything I've been building in love and hope. I do not share this with you to make you fearful or guilt-ridden with every word you utter, but to awaken you to the spiritual power held in each word you release. Because words are not merely vibrations of the mouth, they are the true echoes of the heart. Out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. This is not just wise counsel, it is unshakable truth. You cannot speak encouragement when your heart is full of bitterness. You cannot speak forgiveness while still nursing resentment. You cannot bless with your lips while your heart is closed off to love. That is why, if you truly desire your words to be life-giving, you must begin at the source, the heart. Guard your heart above all else, for it is the wellspring of life, the origin of every decision, every emotion, and every word that will shape both your world and the lives of those your words reach. You may ask, how do I guard my heart in a world that is harsh and wounding? How can love remain when I am constantly faced with betrayal, misunderstanding, and injustice? I do not ignore the pain you have endured. I have seen every silent tear, heard every sigh that no one else noticed. But beloved, do not allow these wounds to become soil for bitterness. Let them become ground that I can water with my love, my healing, and my mercy. Only when you let me work in those wounds can your heart become soft again, open to receive and open to give what is good. And when your heart is filled with love, your words will carry grace. They will not merely console but become streams of living water that bring true transformation to others' souls. Child, I see in you the potential to be a builder. Your words can construct a spiritual home, rebuild a broken heart, and reconnect a relationship once thought beyond repair. But only when you allow your heart to be cleansed by my spirit. When you learn to replace complaint with gratitude. When you abandon judgment for kindness and humility, only then will you speak, not from the flesh, but with power from on high. You will no longer speak just to vent or just to be heard, but with purpose, with responsibility, and with awareness that you are helping me shape spiritual destinies, your own and others. So today, ask yourself, what is your heart full of? Love or bitterness, forgiveness or resentment, peace or strife? That answer will determine the sound of every word that follows. And I long for you to be one who brings life in every word. Choose to be a bearer of blessing, not because someone deserves it, but because you have been graced and called to reflect me. When you speak goodness in a world filled with venom, you mirror heaven amid chaos. When you guard your heart, you don't just protect your lips from speaking evil, you preserve your soul within the land of blessing. I know you can do this, because I have placed within you a heart that trembles at truth. So, my beloved child, be mindful of your words, for they are the bridge between heaven and earth, between the spiritual and the everyday. Speak as one who knows they are writing spiritual history with me, word by word, breath by breath, moment by moment. And that, my child, is a sacred privilege not given to all. I have entrusted it to you because you are a child of the light. My beloved child, in this quiet moment, I am gently stirring your heart not with reproach, but with the deep love of a father who watches every beat of your heart with hope and patience. I am bringing to your remembrance the moments you may have forgotten or rushed past, the times when your words were like cool water, healing a broken heart, and also those moments when, perhaps without meaning to, you released sharp words that struck deep into the hearts of those you love most. I do not bring these memories to shame you or to keep you bound in regret. No, my child, I bring them to you because I long for you to learn from your past, not with guilt, but through mercy and gentle guidance. For I know that within those seemingly small moments, you can discover a precious light that will guide your path forward. You have once spoken words that made others smile in their darkest days. You have once used your voice to lift someone who had collapsed in despair. You have once helped a doubting heart believe again, and brought warmth to a soul that had grown cold. But there have also been moments when you let emotions lead the way, when fatigue or unhealed wounds pushed you to speak what should have remained unspoken. Those words did not reflect who you are in me. They were but echoes of pain yet to be brought into the light. Do you know, my child, I see it all, both the things you remember and the things you have forgotten. But I do not look at them through eyes of judgment, but with eyes filled with hope. Because I know, if you learn from what is past, even your mistakes can become seeds of growth. And I see in you a genuine desire to love well, to connect, to protect the ones you treasure most. I see a tender heart that longs to be taught, that longs to know how to speak, not with sharp weapons, but with arms of gentleness. So let me tell you this simple, yet powerful: the one you love is listening. They may not respond openly. They may stay silent, but your words do not pass them like the wind. They settle. They gather. They shape the way they see themselves, and also how they form their image of you in their heart. The words you speak can become a refuge or a reason to retreat. They can nourish closeness or quietly build walls of distance. My beloved, do not let your words be something you later regret. Let the love in you, true love, enduring, kind, and selfless, be the guardian of your lips. When you truly love someone, you will not speak impatiently, because you understand how fragile the human heart truly is. When you love with the love that comes from me, you will choose your words the way a gardener chooses seeds, knowing that what you sow today will determine tomorrow's harvest. Speak to them as I speak to you, not hastily, not harshly, not with punishment, but with patience and grace. Let the light of love soften your mouth. When you see someone's fault, speak with encouragement, not to prove yourself right, but to open a door to healing. When you are hurt, express it honestly, but without bitterness. For words drenched in anger can forever close the door to connection. When you long to be understood, use your words to invite the heart, not to force the mind. And remember, every word you speak is another beat added to the lifeline of a relationship. It is not invisible, not meaningless. It is the thread between two souls. It can be a warm bridge of kinship, or a cold stone that creates distance. Choose to love through your words, as if it were the last time you could speak to that person. For true love always acts as if time is the most precious thing, and I am here to help you. Whenever it feels hard to speak what is right, pray. Whenever your heart is full of anger, pause and ask me, what should I say? I will answer. I will place the right word on your lips. I will teach you not only what to say, but how to say it from a heart that knows how to love well. Because I do not only want you to speak rightly, I want you to love rightly. And to love rightly begins with words woven with patience, kindness, and the unchanging love I give you day by day, hour by hour, moment by moment. My beloved child, now sit with me in stillness. Let your heart be quieted by the sweetness of my presence. And together, let us lift up prayers for the ones you carry in your heart. Know this, prayer is not a whisper into emptiness, nor a fragile hope thrown into the wind. Prayer is the sacred bridge between you and me, the place where your heart meets the deep will of the Creator. And when you pray for others, you are placing them directly into the endless river of my love, where the Holy Spirit moves. Angels are dispatched, and my purposes are fulfilled. So do not pray from a place of doubt or fear, and do not speak your requests as if I am distant or unaware. Pray from the assurance that I am already at work, that the moment you open your mouth, all of heaven stirs. Pray as one who knows you have a faithful Father, not only listening, but acting, not only watching, but full of compassion, not only present, but holding all things in my sovereign, merciful hands. You see, there are times in life when you feel helpless watching someone you love in pain, lost, or collapsing under burdens. And you cannot change the situation. But it is in those very moments when it seems like you can do nothing that prayer becomes the most powerful thing you can offer. Because prayer is not the last resort, it is the first step. It is not the act of the desperate, but the declaration of one who believes I am the one who can reach where you cannot, change what you cannot, heal what you cannot, and lift what you cannot carry. Every prayer you offer in faith is remembered. Not one word is lost. I treasure them like rare jewels, like sweet incense before my throne. And each time you intercede for someone, you are opening a heavenly gate for my light to pour into the darkest places, for my love to flow into corners you cannot reach with your own strength. Know this, I do not wait for visible signs to begin working. I do not show up only when things improve. No, my child, I have already been moving before you even asked. I know the needs, the pain, and the deepest longings of your heart, even before you name them. I have sent my angels. I have stirred my spirit. I have surrounded the one you carry in your heart with my unfailing love. You do not need to strain your voice to be heard. You only need to pray with a heart full of faith, believing that I am the good Father, who never ignores the whisper of trust. I do not require eloquence or lengthy formulas. I only ask for a sincere heart. One sigh of faith can stir heaven. One tear full of hope can shake the throne of grace. I see the heart. I listen with love. And I act without delay when you pray under my leading. So let me guide you in prayer. Do not pray only for what your eyes can see, but for what I am doing. Do not focus only on the wounds, but on the healing I am bringing. Do not fixate on the flaws, but on the beauty I am shaping in them. For when you pray, you are not only changing their situation, you are being changed as well. Your heart becomes softer, deeper, more compassionate. Prayer moves you from control to surrender, from understanding to trust, from striving to resting in me. And my child, there are people you love whom you cannot say everything to, but you can say everything to me about them. I understand the unspoken things. I see the spaces yet to be filled. I know the struggles they can't yet face. So keep praying. Do not be discouraged if results don't come immediately. Some prayers take only a moment to speak, but a whole journey to bear fruit. Yet trust this, not one seed of faith you plant will go to waste. I will water it. I will tend to it. And at the right time, you will see your words bloom into a harvest beyond what you imagined. Pray as one who knows you are deeply loved, and who now stands in that love on behalf of another. Prayer is not a duty, it is a privilege. You are not just speaking to your Father, you are co-authoring someone's story with me in the language of faith. So let your heart be filled with hope, with life, and with light, and from that place, pray not just with words, but with your whole soul, your trusting heart, and your surrendered will. I am listening, I am moving, and I am turning your prayers into miracles you have not even dared to imagine. My beloved child, I am listening intently to the deep intercession rising from your sincere heart, not for yourself, but for those you love dearly, those for whom you long to walk more closely with me. I sense in you a holy yearning, not merely for their safety, but for their souls to come alive, to be guided, to have their eyes opened, and to be transformed by my glorious presence. You are not simply praying for their temporary needs, you are placing their souls in my hands, asking me to draw them near, to pull them out of apathy and distraction, to deliver them from the darkness of spiritual blindness and into deep fellowship with the one who formed them out of everlasting love. And I, the one who patiently awaits the return of such souls, am listening to your cry with unspeakable joy. For when one chooses to intercede for the spiritual growth of another, that person steps into divine partnership with me, becoming a part of the great work I am doing within humanity's heart. My child, I am deeply pleased that you do not only ask for them to be blessed, but that you long for them to be transformed from the inside out, strengthened at the roots, and filled with a genuine hunger for me. For only when a soul desires me will they step away from shallow living and begin to seek something far beyond temporary emotions or outward miracles. When you pray for them to encounter my presence like never before, you are asking for a true collision between their soul and my spirit, a divine encounter that can alter the course of their entire life, freeing them from stale faith or rigid religion, and igniting in them a vibrant, connected, spirit-filled walk. I know there are moments when you feel helpless as you watch them remain distant, unresponsive to my still, small voice. But take heart, because your prayers are paving the way, removing veils, melting invisible walls, even ones they do not yet realize exist between them and me. continue to pray like this. My dear one, because such prayers do more than move heaven, they penetrate their very moments. Whether they realize it or not, your intercession is the oil poured upon parched souls, the fire that warms hearts grown cold, the light that clears a path toward the fullness of my glory. I will answer you by awakening within them a sacred hunger, an inexplicable stirring that draws them to my word, not out of duty, but from a deep longing. They will begin to feel a relentless thirst, unable to live without my words, restless if they do not enter into prayer, unable to remain indifferent to the voice of my spirit. And step by step, I will draw them near. I will open their eyes to see my beauty, not only in worship, but in the smallest details of life. I will teach them to know me, not just through great miracles, but in loving silence, in gracious teaching, in my powerful presence, even amid ordinary moments. My child, when you ask me to align their hearts with my will, you are praying for something more precious than any success or favor this world could offer. For once their hearts beat in rhythm with mine, every decision, every relationship, every step they take becomes the fruit of divine direction. Nothing on earth can compare to a soul that lives in obedience to me. And that is what you are asking for, that they may have ears sensitive to hear my voice, feet strong enough to follow even when the path is unclear, and faith great enough to walk with me, not when all the answers are visible, but when all they see is one step, one light, one promise, and I, the faithful one, will fulfill it. So, my beloved, keep praying with confidence. Do not lose heart if the change is not immediate. There are things I am doing in secret, in spiritual realms your eyes cannot yet perceive. Believe that your prayer is a seed being sown deep into their soul, and I am the faithful gardener who will bring it to life, cause it to grow, and yield fruit in my perfect timing. Continue to intercede with passion, and you will see miracles not only in their lives, but within your own heart, which will be transformed, expanded, and united with mine. You have stepped into the most sacred role a soul can carry, intercessor. And through your intercession, you are not only drawing someone closer to me, but you are co-laboring with me to establish my kingdom right where you live. Love and pray. I love you for a heart that places others before self. And I will walk with you through every word you lift, every moment you long for them to encounter me, because that is what my heart desires above all. My beloved child, even as I speak with you now, I see clearly the precious opportunities you have to shift the course of your relationships, not through grand gestures or elaborate plans, but through what may seem the simplest of all, your words. I remind you of the beginning of creation, when I spoke. Light appeared, when I spoke. Sky and earth were separated, when I spoke. Life arose from the void. It was my word that shaped all existence. And though you do not carry the power to form galaxies as I do, you have inherited a portion of that sacred legacy, the ability to shape your immediate world through the words you speak. Every word that leaves your mouth carries invisible but mighty power. It either builds or breaks. It either opens doors of connection or slams shut the bridges of love that I helped you build. You may not see the effects instantly, but the hearts of others will feel them. A kind word can become a refuge for a trembling soul. A gentle reply can soothe even the fiercest anger burning within another. But on the other hand, a harsh word, whether careless or intentional, can raise a cold wall that separates even those once deeply bonded. My child, Scripture is filled with wisdom about the tongue not to scold you, But to protect you from the silent but deep consequences the tongue can bring, I know that this small member can ignite light within a soul, but also, like a tiny flame, can spark a blaze that devours the most precious things in life. That is why I instructed, a gentle answer turns away wrath, but a harsh word stirs up anger, because I know that nothing fractures a relationship more quickly than an unwise word, and nothing heals a wounded heart faster than a word spoken in love and sincerity. Reflect deeply on this. Your words are not mere sound, they are the pulse of your soul echoing into the world. When your heart is full of love, your words become like cool water. But when your heart holds bitterness, your words will carry that same bitterness and pour it into the spirits of others, sometimes unintentionally, but with real consequences. Therefore, my beloved, guard your mouth like a watchman guards the gate of a treasured city. Do not let fleeting emotions control your tongue. Do not let unhealed wounds steer your speech toward destruction. Pause. Listen to your heart, and ask me before you speak, what will this word sow? Life or death? Connection or division? Love or pain? I know there will be times when you are pushed to your limit, when gentleness feels impossible, when patience runs thin, and silence feels unbearable. But it is in those very moments that you must remember, your words are powerful spiritual instruments. They are not just expressions of thought, they are tools shaping the spiritual reality around you. Choose to speak life even in the face of chaos. Choose peace even when your heart trembles. Choose forgiveness even when betrayal stings. And I will move through those words. My dear one, do not forget that your words are a place where I can act powerfully if you surrender them to me. When you offer me your mouth, when you ask me to train your speech, you are not only learning to please me, you are planting eternal seeds in the hearts of others. The words you speak today could become someone's healing memory tomorrow. A kind phrase could be the reason someone does not fall apart in their darkest night. A genuine compliment could be the wind beneath their wings as they endure a storm. And I delight to see you recognize that you can help build heaven on earth simply by choosing your words in step with my spirit. So walk today with this awareness. Every word you speak carries spiritual weight. You do not speak as one lost among the crowd. You speak as one chosen by the Father, a bearer of light, someone with the authority to shift atmospheres, to turn gloomy skies into clarity through one encouraging sentence. You hold that power not of yourself, but because I live within you. Let me use your mouth as a clear spring, refreshing weary souls and building sacred bridges with each word of love. You may not create a universe like I once did, but you can create a spiritual space around you full of life, light, and grace simply by choosing to speak as I have spoken to you, with kindness, with sincerity, and with unshakable love. And that, my beloved, pleases me more than anything else. Beloved child, I call you to sit beside me today, not to lay a heavier burden upon your shoulders, but so you may understand why I have invited you to live a life of forgiveness not only for the sake of others, but for the freedom of your own soul. Forgiveness is not forgetting, nor is it denying the pain. It is a sacred decision not to allow darkness to govern your heart for even one more day. When you forgive, you are not weak, you are stronger than ever. Because forgiveness is a decisive act to cast off the chains of bitterness, to choose release so you do not carry emotional poison along the path I am leading you on. And the miracle is this: as you cleanse your heart of unspoken resentment, your mouth begins to change. Your words no longer carry the sharpness of wounds, but become instruments of healing not only for others, but for yourself. Every sentence you speak begins to carry the fragrance of heaven. And every blessing you speak is no longer mere politeness, but a river of my grace released into the life of the one before you. You may not yet fully realize it, but there is a hidden beauty in blessing others. When you open your mouth to bless, you are partnering with heaven to speak life into a world drowned in criticism, accusation, and negativity. When you choose words that build instead of tear down, you create an atmosphere where miracles can take root, where hope can reignite in a soul grown weary. This is the kind of authority I have given you, not to control, but to uplift, not to condemn, but to raise up, not to be the loudest voice in the room, but the gentlest one, carrying a love strong enough to calm every storm in the listener's heart. And my child, this is not something distant, reserved for a chosen few. This is the very promise I gave to Abraham, the one I called friend. I promised that he would be blessed and become a blessing to many nations. But that promise did not end with him. It continues with you. In you, and through you, you are called to be a living blessing, a flowing source of life and hope in a world thirsty for even one drop of peace and true love. However, my child, to become a fountain of blessing, you cannot speak carelessly. This calling does not come without cost. It requires deep discipline, beginning in the most hidden places, your thoughts, your emotions, and the way you choose to respond to life. Words are the surface, but their roots lie deep in the heart. If your heart is not healed by me, your words will reflect your brokenness. If you do not allow my spirit to soften your heart daily, you will not be able to speak life when your heart is still full of bitterness. That is why my faithful servant James wrote, "If anyone does not stumble in word, he is a perfect man, able to bridle the whole body." He was not speaking of flawless perfection, but of a deep maturity where you are no longer driven by fleeting emotions, but led by the understanding of the spiritual power held within your words. And when you reach that level of maturity, you no longer use words to win arguments, retaliate, or justify yourself, but to reflect my true nature, a father of compassion, patience, and faithfulness. Do you see it? Child, there are moments when a simple word of blessing from you can melt a heart that has long been shut. There are times when you don't need arguments, explanations, or reasoning, only a loving glance and a timely word of kindness. And that alone can rescue a relationship on the brink of collapse. That is the power I have entrusted to you, and I long for you to use that power not recklessly or impulsively, but with steadiness, wisdom, and humility. For the one who restrains their words is not weak. They are strong enough not to prove themselves at the cost of another's heart. They know that every word they release is like an arrow, and they choose to send arrows of life, not pain. So today, my beloved, I invite you to live in a spirit of forgiveness, not as a mere necessity, but as a lifestyle that leads to freedom. Let your heart be cleansed daily, so your mouth becomes a stream of sweetness. Practice speaking blessings, not just when it is easy, but especially when it is hard. Choose life instead of criticism, hope instead of bitterness, peace instead of winning an argument, because in doing so, you are becoming more like me, and that, my child, is the most precious offering you can give to this world. A heart that forgives, a mouth that blesses, and a life that carries the fragrance of heaven in every word you speak. I am always here, ready to help you, ready to strengthen you, so you may become the vessel of blessing I ordained you to be from the beginning. My beloved child, Your name is being spoken in heaven, not as a vague whisper among many, but as a tender, urgent call from the very depths of my heart for you. I am calling you to respond not just with your physical ears, but with a heart that listens, with a soul ready to obey. Can you hear me? In the midst of all the noise around you, through the swirling thoughts, through the emotions that sometimes leave you confused, I am still gently asking you, will you answer me, my beloved? Because I do not only want you to come and receive something, I am inviting you to partner with me, to step into a sacred and powerful role, that of interceding for those you love, those you carry silently in your heart, whose burdens you feel even if no one else does. You know this already. There are times when you feel helpless watching your loved ones suffer, struggle, or face crossroads where you cannot make the choice for them. There are moments when you wish you could do more, say more, change the situation, but find yourself powerless. It is in those very moments that I do not want you to fall into despair or resignation, but to remember the most powerful tool I have placed in your hands, prayer. Prayer is not merely your conversation with me. It is a spiritual weapon the enemy fears more than anything else. When you pray, you are not just requesting help, you are shifting the spiritual climate around your loved ones, drawing invisible boundaries that darkness cannot cross, inviting heaven's intervention into situations that seem beyond your control. And every prayer you offer in faith becomes a wave that pushes back darkness, a shield unseen but unshakable, guarding their minds, hearts, and souls from the flaming arrows of the enemy. My dear one, I know there are days when you are too tired to pray, too confused to find the words, too afraid to believe your voice truly matters. But it is in those very moments that your prayer holds the most value, because when you pray not out of your own strength but out of trust in me, you allow me to move most powerfully. You don't have to know every answer, you only need to know that I do, and that you are placing your trust in the one who holds it all. Prayer is the act of a soul choosing to believe, even when the eyes see no change. It is how you declare that your love for them is not just emotional, it is a holy battle, where you willingly stand in the gap for their freedom, healing, and direction. And child, do not underestimate your role in this battle. Every time you kneel, even in silence or with only a few whispered words, you are placing your spiritual footprint on territory I long to reclaim for the kingdom of light. The enemy trembles when you pray, because it knows the prayer of a righteous one has great power. It knows that you are stirring a spiritual force that cannot be stopped. When you declare my will over someone's life, you are breaking lies the enemy has sown into their hearts. When you pray for peace, you are driving out chaos. When you ask for light, I send clarity to replace confusion. Prayer is not the weak response of someone who doesn't know what else to do. It is the authoritative response of one who knows exactly who their Father is. You may not see it clearly every day, but your prayers are holding together relationships that seem like they're falling apart. They are protecting minds teetering on the edge of temptation. They are paving paths for wandering souls to find the light of truth again. When the world around you shakes, when conflict rises among those you love, when the enemy sows misunderstanding, strife, or silence, your prayers are the strongest defense keeping them in my embrace. Never underestimate the power of one prayer full of faith. It can alter not just a circumstance, but eternal destiny. So, my beloved, today I call you not just to hear my words, but to act with me. I do not need you to be perfect to begin, only willing. I do not need you to know everything, only to believe that I do. And I want to teach you to pray, not out of fear, but out of trust. Bring me the names of those you love. Declare my protection, healing, and perfect will over their lives. Let your words become living water to refresh their souls, an invisible wall no darkness can penetrate. And in every prayer, you are not only changing someone else's life, you are being transformed into a warrior of the kingdom of light. One who hears the call of heaven and answers with their whole heart. I am waiting for your response. Will you step into this calling? My beloved, right now, child, I invite you to lay aside the noise and distractions of daily life and devote your mind, soul, and heart entirely to prayer, not for yourself, but for those you carry within. The ones your love for is too deep for words, but I understand completely. I know each face you think of, each name you whisper, each burden you hold silently. No one sees it. No one hears it, but I do. And I treasure your devotion, because when you intercede for others, you are not only expressing love, you are partnering with heaven, opening the door for me to move powerfully and completely in their lives. But my child, when you pray, do it from a place of faith, not from a place of doubt. Do not let past experiences, unanswered requests, or my temporary silence cause you to waver. Remember, I never sleep, and I am never delayed because of forgetfulness or lack of love. Even before you utter a word, I know what you will ask. The very moment your heart is stirred with love and compassion, my angels are dispatched, my spirit begins to move, and my presence begins to envelop those you love, like an invisible yet steadfast cloak, protecting them from things your natural eyes cannot see, but the spiritual realm fully perceives. That is why I want you to pray, not as someone hoping vaguely, but as one who knows with certainty that I am faithful, the one who not only hears prayers but acts on them when they are spoken in faith. Believe that your prayers carry true power. They do not fade into the void, nor dissolve into silence, but are brought before my throne like sweet incense. And from there I issue commands. When you ask for healing, I release my healing oil. When you ask for protection, I raise a spiritual stronghold. When you ask for peace, I send my angels with tranquility in their wings. And in every whisper, you are not just interceding, you are shaping destiny. You may not see the outcome immediately, but remain steadfast, for faith does not live by what is seen, but by trust in what I am doing quietly, deeply, and firmly. You are sowing spiritual seeds, and the harvest will come at the appointed time. In a way only I fully understand. Let me guide you in how you pray. Do not rush. Do not pray as one trying to control outcomes. Pray as a child speaking with their father, one who knows they are unconditionally loved, who has no need to beg or persuade, but simply to speak with sincerity. Do not only bring me your fears, declare what you believe. Instead of repeating anxieties, speak my promises. Instead of focusing on what's broken, proclaim what is righteous and divinely ordained. Don't stop at asking for protection. Declare that I am your protector. Don't just wish for healing, proclaim that I am the healer. When you pray like this, your words become the voice of heaven on earth, and no force of darkness can stand against that. My dear one, prayer is not something you turn to after everything else has failed. Prayer is the first line, the strongest defense, the most powerful force against every attack of the enemy. When darkness brings confusion, prayer is the light that leads the way. When relationships you treasure are shaken by misunderstanding or pain, Prayer is the silent strength that holds the foundation together. When the enemy sows division, prayer is the golden thread that weaves human hearts together with love from heaven. And in the moments when you feel weak, when you have no words left to say, I am still there listening even to your sighs and wordless tears, for sometimes those are the truest prayers of all. So, my child, do not hesitate to lift up even the smallest things. I am not only concerned with the grand matters, I am attentive to every detail of your life and the lives of those you love. And I take great delight when you place them in my hands through prayer. Nothing moves me more than to see you love someone by lifting them up to me. Because that is love that surrenders control, that moves beyond the fear of loss, a love that knows how to trust, how to release, and how to partner with me. Keep praying this way. My beloved, pray with the confidence that I am moving, with the assurance that I never leave, and with the gratitude that even now, I am covering the ones you love with my very presence, gentle, mighty, and unshakable. You are not merely speaking, you are creating a heavenly atmosphere of miracles with your prayer, and I delight in seeing you step into that role, for it is part of the great purpose I destined for your life. My beloved child, in those quiet moments when you lift up the names of your loved ones before me, you may not even realize how powerful what you are doing truly is. Never underestimate the value of a prayer born from sincere love and unwavering faith. Because when you pray, you are not only expressing concern, you are inviting me, the Almighty, to enter into the unfolding story of their lives. You are placing them into my hands, the safest, most secure, most powerful place of all. You are calling upon me to cover them with spiritual protection, to heal them from wounds they may never have spoken aloud, to lead them out of the labyrinth of confusion, and to fill their lives with the light of the divine purpose I ordained for them even before they were born. You may think you're doing something small, just whispering a few words in a quiet room, or offering a silent sigh amid life's busyness. But from heaven's view, it is a mighty movement. Every prayer you speak is a spiritual decree, a living bridge between heaven and earth. It does not vanish into the void, it reaches straight to the throne of glory, where I receive it with the heart of a father who deeply loves. And rest assured, I do not only hear, I act, not because you are perfect, but because I love you, not because your words are flawless, but because your heart is sincere. Every time you say, Father, protect them, I send angels. Every time you whisper, Father, heal them, I pour out healing oil. Every time you cry, Father, I don't know what to pray anymore, I understand it all. Keep praying, not as a duty, but as a privilege given to those who know they cannot, but believe I can. Prayer is not the last resort when all else fails. It is the first act of a heart that trusts. When you pray, you are securing a spiritual defense around those you love. You are standing between them and the world, between them and the unseen arrows the enemy fires. You may not see what I am doing behind the curtain, but I promise you your prayers are never forgotten. They are being gathered like sweet incense in golden bowls, and at my appointed time, they will pour out blessings, miracles, and deliverance in ways far beyond what you could imagine. Do you know that there have been moments when I have stopped disaster, softened pain, opened doors because of your silent prayer? You don't see it all, but I do. Some peaceful sleep they've had was because you prayed for their rest. Some wise decisions they've made came because I whispered to their hearts in response to your prayer for wisdom. Some events that seemed random were actually my intervention released through your intercession. That is why I keep calling you to pray without ceasing. Because every intercession is drawing a divine blueprint over the map of someone's destiny. Every time you pray, you are declaring to the darkness that it cannot have those you love, because they are being bathed in the light of your faith. And my child, when you are tired, when you don't see results right away, when your heart is shaken, I ask you, do not stop. For what you are sowing today will blossom in the day I choose. Do not be discouraged when the answer doesn't come the way you expect. For I act not only according to what you want, but according to what is best for the one you love. And remember, it's not because you say much that I hear, it's because I love you. I listen even when you have no words left. One tear is enough to move me. One name spoken in faith is enough for me to send angels to guard them night and day. So, my beloved, pray with faith. Whisper their names in the stillness. Mention them in the early mornings or in the late nights. Let me hear your heart beat for them. And let me turn that love into protection, into healing, into guidance, into miracles. I never overlook a prayer spoken in love and trust. Keep going, and you will see me do wonders not only in their lives but in your own heart, where you will come to know this truth. The one who prays is never weak, but is the one quietly changing the world, one prayer, one night, one breath at a time. In my love, Amen. As a child of God, He is always by your side in every moment to remind you to live in faith and in the love He has for you. Hit follow and turn on notifications so you don't miss a single word I speak from heaven. Amen.